You're listening to Radio Cosmos.
All night long.
Bravo! My compliments, little lady.
Commercial!
Break for 30 seconds.
You're now listening to BaaD Radio.
Hello and welcome to BaaD Radio. BaaD stands for Business at a Distance. This is a show about local businesses and business networking. We are here in the News Radio WFLA Orlando studios from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Sunday. And I'm your host, Angela Smerito, and in studio with me we have Melissa Jacob with Striking Brand.
Hello, hello. Round of applause.
We do a round. and Melissa is our co-host and our videographer. And if you go to baadradio.com, that's BaaD radio.com, you can see all the previous episodes of the show. And we also have a YouTube channel that you can go as well. And that is BaaD Radio on YouTube. So just go there, hit that subscribe button, and you'll have access to all of the shows on there. And if you want to see Melissa's other work, you can go to strikingbrand.com because she, in addition to being a videographer, she also takes photos.
That's true.
She is a photographer as well. So today we have a very special guest. Please welcome Kimberly Devitt Brown with BWH Plant Co.
Hello.
Gotta say hi.
You can talk now.
Yes, I'm so honored to be here. I was waiting for the round of applause.
Yeah, I know.
Thank
She's
you.
like, I'm
Thank you.
living in it.
Keep going.
Okay, so with a BWH Plant Co., you are the head of brand marketing and communications. Is that right?
That's right.
All right, let's just strip off the Band-Aid.
Yes.
What does BWH stand for?
Bros with hose.
Yes,
I love it.
We love it. Bros with hose.
When she first mentioned the business name, I was like, what? I just pictured a very different type of person. And then when she said, they do like gardening and stuff. And I'm like lawn care, you're going to talk more about it.
Yes,
I was like,
yes.
that's actually really cute. I like the name now. That's really cute.
It's a little double entendre.
Yeah.
It's perfect. So before we jump into all of that backstory, let's just give the audience an insight of what is BWH Plant Co.
Sure. So BWH Plant Co., or Bros with Hose, is an indoor tropical plant company. We are differentiated in that we are the most affordable and accessible. You can think of us like a 1-800-Flowers, if you will, of houseplants. So we ship directly to your door. We ship to all 50 states, but we do have a brick and mortar location in College Park in Orlando as well.
Right. And so I know you have a location in Apopka, but what is that?
So we have the business is really broken into 4 different departments. So we have a greenhouse, and we're actually building a second greenhouse, which is really exciting. We have a warehouse, and that's where we do all of our fulfillment and shipping. And then we have like our corporate headquarters, which is a very fancy way of describing our manufactured home that we have transformed into an office.
Hey, a headquarters.
And then we also have our beautiful brick and mortar store with floor-to-ceiling windows on Edgewater Drive in College Park.
Right. I've been there before, and I love it in there. It's got such a great Zen kind of vibe to it, and it smells like coffee too. Is there a coffee? There's a coffee place right connected to it, or something, or a bakery, or
there's
something.
There's a bakery. So we are very fortunate to be sandwiched in between 2 really amazing companies. So there's like New Moon Market if you want to get smoothies, and then there's a great cookie place next door as well.
A cookie.
Used to be Cookie Cousins, and now it's Southern Home Bakery.
I would be a mess. I'd be like, okay, that smell is going to get me.
Every lunchtime.
It's just like Auntie Anne's in the mall. If you walk by that place,
I can't get by there without
you're like, all
getting
right.
Yeah.
I don't even eat pretzels, but I'm going to eat a pretzel.
Oh, those are so good too.
They're ridiculous.
I eat the most weird one though.
Which one do you
What's
get?
that?
Cinnamon with the cream?
I get that, but with mustard because I'm really weird.
Wait, cinnamon and mustard?
I know. It's weird. I admitted it before I said it.
How did you even figure that out?
Know.
Was it accident?
I don't know.
Wow,
Just
that's interesting.
try it, I guess.
I mean, I guess I've had like popcorn and chocolate before, so the sweet and salty,
popcorn,
but I've never mustard and cinnamon.
Chocolate. That's good
more
stuff
common,
right
I
there.
would think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, hey, we're in the no judgment zone here.
Right,
Sorry
right.
if my face
No,
cast judgment. I
okay.
didn't mean to.
It's appropriate.
Oh, so we digress. But that's the way we roll. It's like we just talk how it is. So yes, I have been to the brick and mortar. I have not had an opportunity to go to the Apopka location. So is that somewhere where people can go and walk and shop?
Well, it's so funny. That was basically the reason we started the Jungle Room, or brick and mortar, was because we had an abundance of folks who said, well, we want to come visit the greenhouse and pick it out ourselves. But because we're like 90% of our business is shipping direct to consumer, we really need like all hands on deck there. We're like grabbing and packing and, preparing our orders for shipment. So to combat that, we created our jungle room, our brick and mortar. So that is kind of like the mini greenhouse, if you will. And that's why when you walk in, you feel those like jungle room vibes. You feel like you're in the greenhouse, but you're closer to downtown Orlando.
So for the greenhouse, do you have all of the plants that you carry at the greenhouse?
Exactly. So we actually have often more at the jungle room because we can have bigger, taller trees and foliage that might be more difficult to ship. So that, and as far as selection, you actually have more at the jungle room than at the greenhouse, where we might have 4,000 of one SKU that's sitting on a bench, whereas we have quite an assortment at the jungle room as well. But it is juxtaposed. We do every twice a week we restock the jungle room, and when I say it comes directly from the greenhouse, we fill up a van and drive it over on Mondays and Fridays and restock the entire jungle room. So it's fresh. It's super fresh.
So I have, because this is something I always think about with grocery stores, but it applies to this too, is you have a product that, I don't want to say it has a shelf life, but it needs to be tended to,
totally
right?
Does, yes.
So how do you manage, like I know there's a million ways to get that, but I'm just thinking as far as like you grow it at the greenhouse in a papka, and then at a certain time you have to get it over to, or you either have to ship it or you have to get it over to the brick and mortar, right? What does that kind of look like? That's you got to be really organized. I'm
exactly.
guessing.
And my background is in consumer products, so I've always been I was working for Corksicle and then Teleties, and in both instances, you could have that product on the shelf for 10 years and it doesn't change, right?
Right.
And so it does make the storage of our products different and more unique because they're alive. And as a result, we, like you mentioned, we have to be sure that we're managing that in a timely way. But also another factor that I didn't even consider until I started working here was the weather. So if there's like a high growth season, then we'll have an abundance of inventory. But if it's like super cold, and oftentimes it takes a lot longer to grow. So what we expect will be ready for shipping within a month or two might actually be longer or shorter, depending on all these other factors that are completely outside of our control.
Track of that?
Yeah.
So
we have an amazing head grower who regrets he can't be here today, but his name's Kyle. He's one of the bros.
Okay.
All the founders are all under the age 30 when they started this company, which is wild to me.
I love it.
We joke that it's not your grandma's greenhouse. This is an industry that has been. You think of, oh yeah, my friend's grandparents own a greenhouse or a nursery out in a pub. This is not the same thing. Like this is we are the first to really like ship it straight from the greenhouse to your house. Like that's never existed before. We're basically cutting out the middleman, and that's how our products can be so affordable, and we beat the competitor pricing.
That's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the owners, because they were going to be here today, but they're not feeling good, and we hope that you feel better soon.
Yeah. Sending well wishes for quick healing.
Absolutely. But we appreciate that too, because like I said, none of us are ready to get sick right
Thank
now.
you. Thank you for staying home and not getting us sick.
We appreciate
Seriously,
that.
Take care of yourself.
They felt so bad, and I'm like, listen, I can't get sick. We have a big sale happening next week, which is top secret, but I'll spill the beans now.
I like it. You heard it first, right?
You heard it here first. 30% off site wide and in store.
Nice. Right. Well, I do want to talk about, like I said, the origins of BWH, and I'm looking at that. So let's just start off with like how they came up with the name.
So Bros with Hose, it was an inside joke among friends. Kyle, Carly, and Jason all went to college together. They all pursued different paths in terms of like their studies at UCF. None of them studied agriculture, which is interesting. But Carly's background was in experiential marketing. So she was interning for Red Bull before she rolled into an internship actually at Corksicle, which is where we first met. And because she had a background in consumer products, she had a passion for experiential marketing. And then Jason made a joke that they were going to start selling plants, like, slinging plants for beer money was kind of the joke. And
I bet they can buy plenty of beer now, can't they?
And Carly was like, well, we should make it an experiential. So they literally, like, they truly bought a trailer that they could pop up at different farmers markets and start selling plants.
Well, hold that thought, because we're going to go to break, and when we get back, we'll have more BaaD Radio, so stay tuned.
Awesome.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
Welcome back, and this portion of the show is brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore. Spring is in the air, so it's time for a trip to Premier Couple Superstore. They've got a huge selection of lingerie, shoes, toys, games, love oils, and a ton of great gifts. With Premier Couple Superstore, you don't pay those high prices because you go directly to the source. 5009 South OBT, or shop online at premiercouples.net, because a couple that plays together stays together. It sounded so light that time, but I like it. All right, so we're talking with Bros with Hose. We're here with Kimberly Devitt Brown, and we started talking about the backstory of, first of all, where the name came from. So that was kind of a joke. It's going to be called Bros with Hose for beer money. Right. But they had to have had like some sort of like green thumb at least.
It really, they weren't born with it, right? So it's something that's been cultivated over time, and they'll be the first to tell you that they didn't really have a ton of like plant specific knowledge. But as I can personally attest to, having joined the company only last year, you learn it really quick. And so they started popping up at different farmers markets and festivals. And that was that's how they got their start. It's funny, I actually ran into someone a couple weeks ago, and, we're doing the chit chat. Where do you work? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, BWH, you work for Bros with Hose? And I was like, yes. He was like, I used to stalk them and like follow their schedule and see where they were going to be popping up and wait in line. So they it sounds to me now that I've like experienced it in the wild, they created this like cult following, almost
That's
like
what it sounds
band
like to
groupies,
me too.
if you can describe it as band groupies. Like wherever they're going to be, they had like lines of people waiting, and they would sell out every time.
So what do you think that is, though? Like I said, plants. We love plants.
Yes.
But I didn't realize that there was such a high demand for plants.
Me either.
I'm personally one of those people that kill lots of things, not on purpose. You know what I mean?
Same. And I still go back to Lowe's or wherever and be like, let's try it again.
Right. But if they didn't have like I said, plants in their house, or they were just sort of like, okay, plants.
Yeah. So their, mission was to make like rare plants affordable. So they would just basically at the beginning just sell it at cost. And even still, we're still like less expensive than a Home Depot or a Lowe's, for example. People can't even believe it, but it's totally true. And they really stuck to their guns with their mission of making it affordable. And it's still to this day, what used to be $300 for a cutting of a super rare Monstera Thai constellation, is one example, is now less than $20 on our website.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they started like doing pop-ups at events, and I love that because I think that sort of event marketing
grassroots,
is so important. Totally. But then from there, were they building a website at that time too, so people could follow them?
Well, it was, at the time, that was right when the pandemic hit. So the company started 2019, and then boom, 2020 hit. And as we know, everyone shut down, and everyone uses the word pivot, but they had to quickly pivot, and they built a website. They put on their inventory. I think it was like a pretty small batch the first time, but it sold out within 45 minutes, like their first time going live on the web. So I think it was pretty immediate that they realized that they were onto something.
Right.
I think, and they'll agree that the lightning strike was that people were stuck at home. And so a lot of folks who weren't previously green thumbs said, I'll try my hand at a new hobby. And they were able to bring the outdoors inside. So,
well, a lot of home services did get a great boom. Flooring companies, anything like that that's got home improvement.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, did great.
Yeah.
I know one company that it was a husband and wife, and they were both. What is the word that they use when you're not fired but you are fired?
Laid off?
No, it was something else.
They're furloughed.
Furloughed, and they started building tables. And Tom and I bought this beautiful picnic table from them that is then on our back porch. But it opened up all these. But I mean, they would build them and they would sell out.
Right.
And they are beautiful, and they're very well priced and all of that thing. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, but they had to have some sort of social media presence in order for people. I mean, like you said, they have the following,
right? But
it sounds to me like that started and spread very quickly.
Exactly. And one of the things that they did, which was very creative, this was back when Instagram prioritized their algorithm differently, but they would do giveaways weekly, monthly of super rare plants. I'm talking like $400, $500 plants that they were giving away. And
Wow.
and that's how they, their call to action was follow and like us and tag a friend. And so that's how their Instagram really blew up.
That's fabulous. That's so smart. I
Yeah.
love it.
And they were literally giving plants away. The joke now is we're bringing plants to the people, and I think that's kind of like the allure of the brand now, and it's transformed over time to more of like a lifestyle brand.
Right. Yeah, no, I like it because it's got a very classy feel to
I
it.
really want to go visit
Come
now.
on over.
Yeah.
We would love that.
Yeah, the store off of Edgewater, like I said, it's great.
Yeah.
And there's like this one bag. I want to talk more about that, but they have like there's one area that it almost had like flowers or like large vines and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I want to decorate with that so badly. But right now I have like fake vines because I know that I won't kill them.
yeah, that's true.
But I'm not hesitant. Like I'm ready. I'm at a point in my life now where I think that I'm mature enough that I can take care of these things.
Like,
So
I
I'm gonna
feel
try
like
it
I'm
again.
getting
You
there.
can keep your teenagers alive. You can totally. You've got this. You've
I
got
don't
this.
know. Teenagers sometimes feel easier. I gotta be honest.
So the giveaways got them a huge following, and so during COVID they were just 100% online, but they still had the greenhouse obviously because they had to stock the product.
Right. So once they realized how quickly that, okay, we're on to something, they invested in purchasing land. And so they bought property in Apopka and built their own greenhouse. The greenhouse was there, but it was basically the equivalent of like taking something down to the studs. Like they had to completely
Right.
revamp it. And then that was when really things took off because they were able to grow their own product instead of like sourcing it from other growers, which we still do on occasion for certain unique
Right.
items. But the vast majority of our plants are grown in our greenhouse in Apopka, and we are running out of bench space quickly. So that's why we're building a second greenhouse right behind it.
Okay, I
So-
was going to say different location.
Yes, same location, but different plot of land. We actually did the groundbreaking last week, and
Oh,
we had champagne, and
congratulations.
it was so fun. Thank you.
When did you guys open the retail location?
2021. So
Okay.
right around the COVID time. And then they had, I'm not sure if you're familiar with a brand called Freehand Goods. So they were originally sharing a location in Thornton Park. So some people say, oh yeah, I went to your OG location. They were basically renting out like a corner of another retail area. And then over time, when they realized that there was another location was becoming available, they said it was a good time to make the jump.
Nice. And so let's talk a little bit about products.
Yes.
I saw things in the store like soil.
Yes.
I saw different
Okay.
plants. I saw like the little, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the branded, I almost want to say it was like a coffee mug. Yeah, I saw all sorts of different things
Yes.
that was in addition to the plants. But I also want to talk about how you guys decide like what
Sure.
plants to carry. So which one should we ask our answer
Do you have
first?
planters?
Yeah, so this is one of our mama pots that we brought into the studio today. We do sell those at the Jungle
Cute.
Room. Because of how much care we put into shipping our plants, we try not to carry a ton of like ceramic goods online because we want it to be easy to ship. But you can find those planters at the Jungle Room. And yeah, when it comes to merch or other designs, even our dirt bags, for example, we actually just won an award last week from the Dye Line for our sustainable packaging for those bags.
I love the
We
packaging.
make our own dirt, and so I know it sounds crazy. I remember like when I heard how much dirt that they were selling, I was like, wait, what? You're selling dirt? And they literally brand it as the dirt bag. It's called the dirt
That's
bag.
what I
cute.
love. That's what made me laugh so hard. It's
Yeah.
called the dirt bag.
Did you come up with that? Did
I
it was
I
pre-existing?
can't take any credit for that. That was a pre-existing. I did help support their packaging initiative to make it more sustainable and then on brand when we went through a brand logo revamp in October. But I thought it was like just shoveling dirt into a bag. I'm like, you're just taking dirt out of your backyard and putting it in a bag and shipping to people. And then I realized there's so much chemistry behind it. Like what type of ingredients are going to go into the composition of it that makes the potting soil perfect for propagation. And when I realized it was more of a science, I had a new respect for the dirt bag. But it is top quality dirt at an affordable price, baby.
I love that.
Right. I have a friend who actually does the marketing for Black Cow. I mean,
Yeah?
she sells cow,
Yeah.
you know what?
It's a science. There's a science in it.
I don't know what. I just said yeah because it sounds like something we're not talking about on air. We'll
Black
do it
cow.
in between.
Yeah.
We'll do it in between.
And on that note,
It's manure.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. You made
Bags-
it sound so much worse.
Well, I was about to drop the S word, which I wasn't going to do, and the guy will have a heart attack in there. Well, actually, we're going to break. So when we get back, we'll have more BaaD Radio, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
Welcome back, and this portion of the show is brought to you by Body Street of Winter Park. Experience the future of fitness at Body Street in Winter Park. Lose weight, build muscle, tone your body in only 20 minutes a week. Visit bodystreet.us, where fitness meets efficiency. All right, we're here with Kimberly Devitt Brown, and we've been talking about plants, and more plants. And she is with a BWH Plant Co., which stands for Bros with Hose. And we've been talking about the backstory. Now we're talking about a little bit more about the products. And so let's just pick up where we were. I don't remember exactly where we were, but there's so many different things to talk about.
I don't know, but she started to ask a question during break.
I was quizzing you.
Yeah,
Okay,
that sounded fun.
So the quiz, pop quiz, what do you think is our top selling channel? Like, where do you think we sell the most product?
I'm going to say Facebook.
Are you talking specifically online?
Anywhere.
Oh.
Like I said, that's my guess.
That's
my
a good
2 cents.
guess.
If it's online specific, I would probably guess something like TikTok or Instagram.
Also a great guess. We do sell on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, but our number one channel is actually our mobile app. We have an app.
You have an app?
Nice.
I want an app.
I know, you got to download the app. I know it's going to shock you. It's called BWH Plant Co. is the name of the app. But we sell more on our app than we even do on our website, which is almost hard to believe. But it's because we can do a lot of like free gifts with purchase, for example, through the app. And then we can run push notifications, and we do a lot of like loyalty programs that are app exclusive.
Oh my God, I think that having an app is a brilliant idea. I know that some companies are super hesitant because of the cost, but I
Sure.
mean, do you think that it sounds to me like the costs were very worth it?
Oh, absolutely. I would say we use a vendor called Tapcart, and it integrates with Shopify. So it creates like a very seamless experience. And we have an awesome team, both on the e-commerce side of the business and then our incredible customer experience team. So if there's ever an issue or anything, it's always addressed very, very quickly. But I've never had any bugs or anything in my own. I also, by the way, I buy a lot of plants.
I'm going to end up buying a lot of plants too.
They tease me all the time, and then I'm like, oh, Kim made another order.
Well, you know, my daughter in high school, when she was in high school, she really got heavily into, and I always say it wrong, horticulture.
Yes.
And she was really involved with it, and I really liked it. And she did too. She did really well in the class, but that's not something I ever really thought about. But the one thing I do notice about plants is, and I never noticed it before, is the energy that they give to whatever they're in, whether it's a room or a back patio or whatever. I can actually feel the difference in the room when it has live plants in it versus like my fake ones. And I don't know if I'm not being like all space agey or anything like that. That's actually generally I feel healthier when I'm around natural plants.
Yeah, not gonna lie. Even this one here, when I was framing your camera, I was like, "Oh, this looks nicer. We should just keep this here."
Hey, guy, can we keep a live plant in here? Do you think that iHeart will let me? They put in a clock for me, so I feel kind of special.
We can bring more if we need. If it gets approved, we'll bring you more plants.
Well, I think bringing a plant into any situation changes the feel of the room, no matter what. And I guess, like I said, there's a lot of a bigger demand for plants than what I had originally thought.
I would never have thought like lines waiting for pop-up. Like I think like food trucks, like tacos. Heck yeah.
Yeah, and tacos disappear, right? As soon as they go in your stomach. This is something you can carry
these
with
are
you,
like,
grow with you.
But these are more like rare plants is what you guys specialize in.
Exactly. We specialize in making rare plants affordable and accessible. We also have what we call easy care options.
Is that what this guy is right here?
Yes.
She's like, thank you. What is this?
So we have lots of different easy care options. We have pothos, which are very, very easy, require very low light. We have the philodendrons.
So flowers versus plants.
Yeah, so this is indoor tropical foliage. You mentioned horticulture, and I wanted to just quickly reference that next month in May is Women in Horticulture Month.
Oh.
So you'll have to tell your daughter. But yeah, so we Hoyas do bloom and flower, but many so we do have a number of flowering plants, but these are not cut floral. So for example, if you're shipping, a bouquet to your mom for Mother's Day, that's probably going to die within a week, right? So ours will continue to bloom and grow.
Right. like if I'm going to buy a plant for somebody, I usually will, like I said, my thing is those I'll go to like Publix or something,
Right.
and they have. I think Publix doesn't do a bad job.
Oh yeah, they do. a
But
good
I
job.
would rather buy them a plant than the flowers because they are going to die. And that's
Exactly.
I used to have this thing where I'm like, do not buy me flowers,
Flowers.
Tom. Just don't do it. It's a waste of money.
Mhm.
Now I've kind of changed a little bit. I'm like, okay, you can buy me flowers.
And we also have this thing called a plant surprise. So if you're just like, I don't even know what to pick, for $10 you can get a surprise plant, which is fun.
For
and then
$10.
it's $10. And
Oh,
then we have a
nice.
planogram, so you can, like, let's say your friend's having a birthday and you want to wish her happy birthday, but she lives in Nebraska. You could buy the plant surprise and then the planogram that says happy birthday, and it would be $16.
Do you guys get to sit around and have like these amazing brainstorming
the best.
sessions
Oh, yeah.
about like, let's do this, let's try this, and
Oh, yeah.
the fact that you're working directly with the owners and that you get to be part of that creative process, that would be so much fun.
And then the ownership team is so receptive to the ideas, right? Like, it's not a big corporation where you have to go through 16 levels of red tape and approvals
I
to get
know.
anything
Mhm.
done. It's
Oh, yeah.
like, you got an idea? All right, by the end of the day, let's make it live.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
We all like had our experience with corporate America, and I think that we're all happier exactly where we're at,
Right.
as far as
Totally.
the scary part though is whether or not you're going to make a living,
Sure.
and you've got all the things, the insurances and all that other stuff. So doing something like this does take a lot of courage. And like I said, most of the people that we've had on the show have that background where it's like, we worked in corporate America, and like you said, there's 10 levels to even get anything done.
Right.
But that's wonderful that you're in that position. It's awesome.
I'm so proud of our team. They were just named an Orlando Innovation recipient, and they were one of the few that haven't received any outside funding to do so. The fact that they've like really bootstrapped this company on their own and at such a young age, like, I'm continually amazed.
I would.
by them.
I mean, I am going to have to get them on the show because
Yes.
I'm going to ask them.
This is part one. I'm just
So-
teasing. I'm teasing the big intro.
So when they sat down to create this, I mean, there's so many moving pieces. First of
Yes.
all, because you're selling live entities, right?
That's right.
So, like I said, there's the growing, there's the shipping, there's all of those different things, and then there's just the creation of all the products.
Yes.
So, I mean, how did they just, like I said, I really wish I could just find out how they got started. Did it start with, let's do this first?
So the joke is that we're building the plane as we're flying it, right? So we are quick to pivot and make adjustments as needed.
Nice.
So that is, to your point about what products are selling, I mean, we're really, really lucky that like every single thing that we, if we have it in the greenhouse, it's gonna sell out. So again, we're very, very fortunate. I think that's a testament to our greenhouses team's quick commitment to quality. So ensuring that it's pest free. I never even thought about that term pest free before, but where it's not contaminated and
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
and it makes sense, right? Like, these are the plants that aren't going to die within a week of you receiving it. And so again, that goes to the highest quality. But yeah, so it's made those decisions easier because we know it's going to sell out anyway. And now it's just a matter of kind of like determining like the velocity of each product. So how quickly does it move off of the bench?
Right.
And then if people love it, we'll get more of it. And we've done a lot of crowdsourcing from our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group that's like private, and we call it the Green Thumb Club, and has over 10,000 members now. But we do a lot of like polling and what would you like to see next from us? A lot of like ideation and think tank happening there in the Facebook
Man,
group.
that's brilliant. 'Cause you don't even have to pay for that. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
It's-
That's-
it's free market
Exactly.
research.
Exactly.
No, that's awesome. I'm trying to think. Like I said, I want to talk about, like I said, the list of products, but I really want to talk about also is the shipping part.
I was gonna say, how the heck do you ship these without them getting
It's-
damaged and dying? And
So that was my question too when I first started. I'm like, there's no way. And now you know what? We just hit a big milestone. 500,000 plants have shipped.
Oh my goodness.
500,000 plants
that is
shipped
crazy.
to all 50 states. And so they take great care of how they are packaged, and they use
Was that a trial
biodegradable.
by area?
Oh,
it's trial by area
absolutely,
too.
absolutely. And so it's we use at this time we use biodegradable packing peanuts that dissolve in water. So we try to make it as sustainable as possible. But we're actually launching new packaging next month, which is very exciting. But the level of care, I mean, they're individually wrapped and packaged, like almost like if you were bundling a baby, right, in a blanket, and ensuring that they're just like kept nice and safe and tight. And it's been really, really awesome. We have the Plant People Promise. So if it's
The Plant People
Yeah, we'll
Promise.
talk about that.
So cute.
They're so creative. I love
so
it.
fun.
It's break time again already,
Yes.
which I can't
Can't
even
believe it.
believe.
It's fun. Time's
all
flying.
right,
We're
so
having
you
fun.
guys stay tuned for more BaaD Radio coming up.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
Oh, welcome back. And this portion of the show is brought to you by Ground Up Property Services. Do you know what your sprinkler system did last night? Probably not. So now is a good time to get your irrigation system serviced by Ground Up Property Services today. And be sure to ask Rick Hall about a water sensor too, so your lawn doesn't get too much water. And don't forget about the lawn painting service. If you are planning an outdoor event or you want to hide those brown spots on the lawn, call 407-468-4295 or visit groundupinc.net. So we are here with Kimberly Devitt Brown with BWH Plant Co. And we're having a great time. We're talking about, we're kind of jumping all over the place, but this is just
So
the way
fun.
that this is just the way that it rolls. You know what I mean? And the best part about the show is that the listeners get to know the business owner. And lots of times that's really what needs to happen in order for people to make the call or to make them stand out a little bit different. But nothing makes me happier than like when somebody's show airs that they call me or send me a text and they're like, hey, I got a call for, wind mitigation or whatever it was.
Oh, well, let me
because-
just do that right now because my mom loves plants. And I'm like, oh, I already know what to get her for her birthday, Mother's Day. I'm
Right.
set.
And I need
Dada.
a wind mitigation guy, so I'll have to get that
Oh,
person.
yeah. See, look at this.
Circle.
This is great.
I love it.
I had a one-to-one with Derek Brantley. He's one of our sponsors, and he does like muscle.
Not massage.
Not massage, but it's like he works with people that are in chronic pain, and every time he comes on, he gets a really good referral. And the last time he came on, he got somebody that bought like X amount of sessions.
Oh, good.
And he was super excited because it basically paid for his sponsorship for the whole quarter.
Oh, that's nice.
I
That's a
know.
good feeling.
I know. That always makes me feel good because I'm like, I want the sponsors to make sure that they get their,
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
their return on their investment. So we started to talk about the shipment process because I think that that's probably where both you and I are kind of like, okay, that's a slippery slope right there.
Totally.
To make sure people get their product and there's not dirt everywhere and there's not
The
things
leaves
that-
aren't all.
Yeah.
broken
Yeah.
pieces. So first and foremost, so you said all 50 states.
All 50 states, including like Alaska. It's cold there. So
Right.
we ship with heat packs if the temperature is below a certain threshold.
Do you get a big bunch of orders from Alaska?
So, it's funny. We actually, in our monthly roundup, we see like the top 3 ordering states. And then
Can you tell us what they are?
Yeah, I'll have to pull it up on our data. But the top I know would be California, Florida, and then like another southern state. But we do get a lot of, this was from last month, and it varies right by month. But we do get a lot of orders from states you wouldn't think would be ordering, foliage in the winter, but they're very, very pleased when it arrives. And to your question about how is it packaged, we use sphagnum. We have spag bags, which is another one of our soil medium or potting mediums, and that prevents the dirt from falling out. And
Okay,
it,
what
it
is
goes on
this?
top. So it's like think of like orchid. It's like the stuff that is used for orchids. It's like the
Like
little
mossy?
Yes, exactly. You'll have to follow us on Facebook.
Okay, I
to see the
will. I
pictures.
am now.
We have like actually pictures of the potting mediums on online too. But so that's used on top of the dirt, and then it's wrapped in like a paper, and so and then again we use the biodegradable peanuts too, so that it's like nice and cozy for transit.
How long? What's the longest it usually takes to get
That's
somewhere?
that's another thing. They put so much thought behind it. So they'll ship on certain days to make sure it arrives on certain days so that it's not sitting in a UPS warehouse over the weekend. And and
It's been in transit
there's
for 2
so
weeks.
much care that's surrounds this this process. And I think right when we're going to break, I was joking about our Plant People Promise, but that
I love that. So what is that?
Yeah,
Tell us
so
what
if
that
you're
is.
not happy, like let's just say you're not happy with it, okay? You have 2 weeks to say thanks, but I hate it,
Right.
or it's broken, or whatever, and we'll make it right, like no matter what. So that goes a huge shout out to our customer experience team, who really like takes it to the next level with how much care and attention that they give our customers. And I think again, the question is how do you build a cult following? And I think it's customer experience.
Absolutely. You know how, okay, so you talked about occasions, birthdays and things like that.
Yeah.
So do you have products that are specifically for those kind of things? I see it says
Yep.
congrats. So
Yeah.
is that how it is? I think of like, because everybody says like 1-800-Flowers or
Mhm.
whatever. And it's like you have certain things that are for certain
Right.
occasions.
So we have all different collections on our website, so you can shop for the office, shop for your home, shop for gifting. Right now we have a really fun gift for moms. It's called the Plant Mom Garden Gift.
Oh, because Mother's Day's around the
Mother's
corner.
Day around the
Gotcha,
corner. So
gotcha.
I think May 1st is the last day to order in time for Mother's Day. And it comes with an assortment of 3 easy care plants
Okay.
and a Plant Mom plantogram messaging acrylic plant stick, which those are actually handcrafted and laser engraved right here in Orlando.
Wow.
Look at that. I like that, giving other people business. So like you said, it's 3 different types of things that they can grow.
Yeah, so it'll be an assortment of 3 different plant surprises essentially.
Oh, that's cute.
And bundled together in one low.
And
cost
how much
price.
does something like that cost?
Ooh, you're putting me on the spot. I think it's $36.
Not
36.
quote
I
her.
think it's
Yeah.
$36.
So no, you don't have to know exact, just ballpark.
Yeah,
It's not like
I-
a $200
Yeah,
gift.
well, I think it's $36.
Okay, awesome.
$5.99 maybe.
Well, you're
Price
close.
is right.
We'll get BaaD Radio special discount.
Yeah.
I love that. Mention BaaD Radio and get it for $36.95.
Yeah.
That's your special discount.
Perfect.
And so you do like you'll brainstorm, and then ahead of time you'll come up. It'll be like, hey, Father's Day's coming, Mother's
Right.
Day's coming, and then you'll have like a certain window because you just mentioned.
Yes, exactly. And we always try to say, okay, to guarantee it by this date. But again, our team, our fulfillment team they're rock stars. So we can make some miracles happen, and they do on the daily. But we also have workshops. So you mentioned Father's Day. We have lots of kids workshops where kids can craft and make something for their dad.
Where do you
and
hold that at?
At the Jungle Room. So
Oh,
we have
do
like
you
a
really?
whole workshop table, and our incredible retail team supports those weekend classes. There's even one this weekend for $15. You can decorate and paint some rocks, and then also get an easy care plant. And
That's so cute.
so it's like fun for kids and adults.
I love that.
We need to talk about all the different things.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I had no idea that
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys did something
We do,
like that.
Oh my gosh, we have like a succulent building terrarium workshop, all sorts of fun things.
Is that
So
all on the website?
It's all on the website.
Okay. and-
BWHplantco.com.
it's very sultry. What other things do you guys do for the family? Is that
Yeah.
like a family thing, or is that
We
just like
we have classes for adults, couples, kids. The idea, right, for the Jungle Room is to build community. Again, it was based off of the consumer demand. They wanted to come and check out the plants and see it in real life, and they're like, "Great, you have a website, but like we want to experience it in real life." And so, how do we bring the community together? And we do that in a number of ways. One is the workshops. We also do what's called, my favorite is called Plant Palooza, and it's a free plant swap. So you don't have to know a ton about plants, but we hold them quarterly. We actually rent out Albert Park in College Park, and we get tables and tents, and we're going to be looking to do some vendor activities in the future, but everyone brings a plant or clipping. If you forget, which happens, we always have extras, so you
That
can
would
still
be me.
participate. And it's just like a great way to like meet your neighbors, meet your friends, meet other plant people, and it's all free.
How long have you been doing that?
So our first one was last year when I started in October, and we've done like at least 3. We just did one this past weekend, and
I meant, like, how many
Yeah.
people show up?
so I was blown away. We had like hundreds and hundreds
Wow.
of people that registered for free on our website. That's just how many registered. And then we had people walking up that hadn't registered, and they're like, "Is it too late?" And I'm like, "No." And again, we're a small team. Like, I'm the one that's registering them. Here's your name tag, and let's go. It's free. And we did giveaways every 30 minutes. That was super fun too, because it got people like really pumped up.
Fun.
And what park was it at again?
Albert Park. It's directly next to the Jungle Room in College Park.
Okay, so it's close to that area. I'm not
Yes.
familiar with that one. I'm gonna have to check it out. And how often do you do those? Once a month?
So, well, we do right now. It's quarterly, but we're always looking to come up with new cadences of scheduling. Or we're like, when I say we're open to ideas, like, we'll make it happen.
Will you bring stuff there as well so people can buy?
So yeah, so we have what we wanted to do was like because it's literally right next to the park. We wanted to keep the place like sacred, and that like there's no selling happening. We really wanted it to be organic and not necessarily a sales push. So there was no selling happening at the park, but then you could walk next door and buy stuff at the jungle room.
No, that
Perfect.
works. That's really nice. I'm blown away how organized they are. All right, so break time again. And when we get back, we're going to have more Bad Radio, so stay tuned.
You're listening to Radio Cosmos.
All night long.
Bravo! My compliments, little lady.
Commercial!
Break for 30 seconds. End of transmission.
You are now listening to Bad Radio.
Welcome back as we launch into the second hour of Bad Radio. I'm going to run through all the regular info for those who might have just joined us. I am Angela Smarito, your host, and we've got our co-host and videographer, Melissa Jacob.
Hello, hello.
And her business is called Striking Brand. Now, if you go to baadradio.com, and that's BaaDradio.com, you can see all the previous episodes of the show. You can also find it on our YouTube channel, which again is BaaD Radio. And then in addition to that, if you want to see Melissa's other work, you can go to strikingbrand.com, and she's a videographer as well as a photographer. All right. So we have been talking for the first hour with BWH Plant Co. with Kimberly, Devitt, Brown, and we're going to continue on that conversation. I'm really, really glad that we have the 2 hours, though, because I feel like we've just barely hit the top of the iceberg
the
there.
Surface.
So during the break, Kimberly asked me about how I came up with the name BaaD Radio. And BaaD actually stands for the name of the group, which is Business at a Distance. So it's the B, Business at a Distance.
Love it.
So Business at a Distance, as I've mentioned multiple times on the show, is the name of the Facebook group that I created when COVID hit. Because as a salesperson, I'm not a huge fan of making cold calls. I'm kind of done that time in my rookie years. I prefer to network. And this was before Zoom hit too. And we're like, okay, what are we doing? We're not meeting. We've got referrals. We've got people. And I knew that on Facebook, if you created a group, you could invite other people. And if you post something, everybody gets to see that. Where if you create like an email chain or text thing, things, get lost in all of the stuff that comes in. So I created that, and I just invited a handful of my partners, like one of my networking partners. And so it started at like about 60 businesses. And the next day I woke up and it was at like 110. I'm like, oh, that's fun. And then, you know what I mean? Then it continued to grow. And it used to be an open group, but since then I've had to, you know what I mean? Because once it gets to a certain level, then it gets all the spam and all the other stuff. So now I have to vet it, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Keeps it authentic. I like that though.
Yeah. Well, because people will go in there and they want to sell. And I'm always very specific. I'm like, if you just want to come in here and sell, then this isn't really the right group for you.
Because then it gets kind of people stop paying attention to the posts and stuff. It's just an advertising group.
Right. What I've always been proud about with Business at a Distance is that it's a very active group. You see people post and then you see people comment and make and I like it when you see people make connections. So that was very, very fulfilling for me, is when I saw somebody post and then somebody answer and then the connections made. And business is transpires that way. And even though I don't make a penny off of it, it's one of those feel good moments for me where I'm like, okay, that's so cool. I created this. Now, the radio show, but the reason I was like, I can connect this to BWH is that Maggie Leiden, she was on the show like 2 weeks ago. She works for the city of Leesburg, and she's in charge of the Leesburg Bike Fest, which is happening starting tomorrow. And it's like a 200,000 people event of bikers coming. Now, Maggie, I knew from like working, and her and I have been friends forever. So Maggie's the one that I called when I was like, I'm starting a group. I don't know what to call it, because she's very, very creative. And she was like, and we had it down to Business at a Distance or Business from a Distance. So I picked Business at a Distance, and that's what we called it. Now, BaaD came organically through the group. So people started, when they were writing stuff in here, they were writing, hey, BaaD family, or BaaD this and BaaD that. So I didn't create it. It happened organically within the group. And at first I tried to fight it because I'm like, I don't want to be called BaaD.
I know, it sounds bad, but it's interesting.
I love it.
Yeah,
I think it's brilliant.
But from there, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to accept it. And so here we are. You can always give it like a little bit of a BaaD kind of thing, so make it like stretch out. But the reason I can connect that to you is because Maggie, the lady girl I was telling you about, her son's girlfriend works for BWH. I don't know her name though.
What? Well, we're a really small team.
I know. I don't know who her name is.
Well, I definitely know her because we have fewer,
Yeah,
people think we're so big, but we have fewer than 30 team
and
members.
I was talking to Maggie. We had a meeting, and we were talking about something, and I somehow BWH got brought up, and she was like, "Oh my God, Brandon's my girlfriend works there." She's like, "You got to tell them that they need to have a tagline: is that we ship our plants."
We ship our plants. That's right. That's true. We ship plants. I think you sent me. I'm like, but this sounds so familiar. I think you sent me an email with that tagline.
Okay.
I love that. That's so funny.
And the funny thing was, is I sent that to you, and then I didn't hear back from you. I was like, "Oh my God!"
Oh, wait, I thought I
was
replied.
You did eventually.
Oh,
but I
I'm
was just like, I sat there and thought
sorry.
about it. I was like, I hope I didn't just offend
No,
somebody
it's the
there.
opposite. I think it's hysterical. And we have I'm always trying to come up with, we always joke, use the bros voice, because my voice is more like butterflies and heart emojis and, and the bros, that's exactly what you would think of, kind of surfer, laid back.
Right.
And so whenever we're crafting email messaging and even just open, what's the subject line going to be, or what's the header, I'm always okay, I got to put on my bro voice. And that's a perfect, we ship our plants.
We ship our plants. And I was like, that's really good. I'm going to tell her.
Well, subscribe to our emails, and the next time you see that in your inbox, you'll be like, I came up with that.
Well, I have to give Maggie the credit. I always give her credit for it too. But yeah, she's somebody that's just creative. She comes up with, when she was telling us everything she's doing for Leesburg, I was like, wow. You know what I mean? I was like, how does that, some people just have that creative mind. It sounds like your team has that creative mind as well. So we talked about the plants and everything like that. I want to talk a little bit, not so much about the marketing, but all the different channels of how people can find you and follow you. And some of the things that you do to capture that audience. I know that we touched on the giveaways and stuff like that, but let's talk about it a little bit. Let's just 1, 2, 3. Sure. Let's talk about the website first.
Okay.
So what is the website?
So the website is bwhplantco.com. We were gathering quotes, and by we, it was Carly, our co-founder, and she was getting these quotes for website build-outs that were so expensive. And I have to brag about her. She did it all herself. She built the entire website on Shopify's platform by herself. And
that's amazing.
That's a whole different back.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Does she have a background?
No.
In
Marketing,
right.
yes, but no, she's not definitely not a website developer.
Right.
So
that's very impressive.
So we have been very fortunate to kind of scale the website. And so as you were mentioning before, different collections, ultimately we want it to be a tool where people can find us, connect with us, learn more about our plant people promise, learn more about our workshops that we're offering at the Jungle Room. Hey, I have a dog and I want to make sure that the plant that I buy is pet friendly.
Right.
We have, we want to make it very user friendly. And that's something we work on every day, is to figure out how can we make it so that the customer experience is just totally seamless. And the website is one channel that we are able to do that.
Right. So you can order directly from the website. So
Directly
that's one way you
we
can get
take
the product.
Apple Pay. It's super easy, super simple. And then that's one way you can get the product. And then we have an app,
right.
BWH Planco, the app, which I think we're up to 40,000 downloads now on the app, which is also wild.
Wow.
And I would say that is the people who know, because they know that we do a lot of freebies. We do app only giveaways or a contest that we just run through the app. And so that channel continues to grow. And then we leverage, to your point, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, you name it, we're on those platforms as well. So
I'm curious. So when somebody is on your Facebook page and they want to go to it, does it redirect to your website to make a purchase?
So we have two. We have the Facebook group, which I call the super fans. That's the Green Thumb Club, and that's a private group. We try to do less selling, more product tips and tricks and
product knowledge,
just plant knowledge sharing. Hey, my plant. A lot of people say, I didn't buy this from BWH, but my plant's dying. And they always want, it's cute that they're always saying, this actually wasn't a BWH plant, but we want to help them care and grow and nurture, rehab their plants. So that kind of happens in the group. And then the Facebook page is where we do a lot of our brand storytelling. So,
okay.
We have as we're leaning more into a lifestyle brand. So we have different monthly campaign theme. So this month is rooted in wellness.
Oh, I
you
love that.
gotta be kidding me. It's break time already.
It happened so fast.
I know. All right, you guys, stay tuned, and we'll be back with more BaaD Radio.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
Oh, welcome back. And this portion of the show is brought to you by Frogger's Grill and Bar. Looking for a place to go with friends or meet new ones? Then you're looking for Frogger's Grill and Bar. With daily specials, an amazing kids menu, and sports, and more sports, there is something for everyone. And don't miss out on Frogger's amazing menu where everything is fresh, never frozen. With 4 great locations, there is bound to be one near you: Oviedo, Mount Dora, Apopka, and Altamont Springs. Frogger's, hoppin' with food and fun. All right, we're here with BWH Plant Co., which stands for Bros with Hose, and we've been talking with Kimberly Devitt Brown. So, you're for Apopka. How close is the greenhouse to Frogger's over there?
You know, that's a good question. I have to go. Now I'm going to have to go check it out. I've
Oh
never
my
been.
gosh.
Do you
That's such a good date.
I'm excited.
You know what else I love in Apopka is that Trader May's. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't been. Now I'm going to make a
What's
list.
that?
Trader May's is like one of those places that has just antiques, and it's almost like a makeshift. I don't even know. It almost looks like a hangar. It's like one of those buildings. They have 2 different ones where people bring in all their like handmade things, and I I love to go antiquing and thrift stores and stuff like that. But it's only open on Thursdays through Sundays or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's really, really cool if you like that sort of like flea. It's nicer than flea market. I can't.
I know
really say
exactly
flea
what
That
you're
market.
sounds fun though.
Yeah.
Do that. Go hang out and find some plants and then get something to eat at Frogger's.
Yeah.
Kidding?
I know Apopka's good. I like Apopka. I've because I do all the marketing for Frogger's. I'm becoming very familiar with all of all the Facebook groups and the social media groups in that area. And Apopka is one of the better ones. They're a little bit more nice to work with.
And I found one of those Facebook groups. So this is a funny story. We have an office dog, a greenhouse dog. His name is Banks.
Love.
He wandered in, and
I love him even more.
We found him like literally walking through the greenhouse, and he's a husky. So we thought, oh, surely he was so well behaved. Surely he has an owner. And so we joined all the Apopka in Mount Dora. We're like right on the border of Apopka and Mount Dora. We joined every Facebook group. We joined all the lost pet groups. We're all trying to find the owner. Carly uses her own money, taking the dog to the vet and scanning for microchip. No microchip. No one comes forward looking for this dog. And so, anyway, now we have an office dog. Now he's part of the family. He's part of the BWH family.
What was his name
His
again?
name is Banks. Well, we didn't know his name. He didn't have a collar. So
Right, and no microchip, huh?
No microchip. And they have tried. I mean, we still look on the Facebook groups, and we're still.
I would be like, no, this dog is mine now.
I know.
It's mine.
He's so
Adopted.
sweet. He's so sweet. He's definitely, he comes to work every day, gives all the kisses.
Those are the best.
They are.
So like I said, during the break and stuff like that, we were talking about the TikTok and the Instagram and stuff like that. So do you guys really attribute a lot of your success to the social? And like I said, I want to hear a little bit more about some of the social, because you did talk about, like I said, well, it's all organic, right?
Yes, it's all organic. We've never paid for any advertising.
Right.
So the only exception to that would be part of like our influencer program. So we through Shopify, we launched, they have it's a plugin called Shopify Collabs. So it allows you to scale your influencer programming organically. So you can invite folks to apply to be an influencer or a collaborator with you. And by doing so, they can earn commissions and you get to determine the threshold. So we pair influencers 10% commission on orders that they generate, and then we give them like a 10% discount code that they can share with their followers. And that way we're not like paying them out right necessarily. Like, hey, we're paying you per post. It's like you are earning it, you know. And so we created this program. We call them plantfluencers. That's kind of an internal term that we use. And I was literally like sliding into their DMs and like, hey, like, love your content, love your look. Like, we'd love to send you some plants, no strings attached. And so first we want to make sure that they like the product, right? Like, we would never want someone to like feel like they're selling for us or on our behalf without actually liking it themselves. But we didn't have any issues there, fortunately. So then, you know, once we got, you know, consumer buy-in, they love it, then we would invite them to join as a collaborator. And we've scaled the program. So now we have 28 plantfluencers.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Plant influencers.
Yeah, and that's
the cutest thing.
It's hard to believe that those 28 plantfluencers generate about 10% of our business. So
That's
and that continues
fabulous.
to grow. And so I'm a huge believer in influencer marketing. I really think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, connection and community, and people want to buy from people that they trust, and like not just like an ad. Like it's more than that. It's like, oh, hey, like I go to Frogger's. Hey, I like the food here. I like the plants that they sell at Jungle Room. It's real people talking about real experiences, and that's what our plant influencers do for us.
Are they all local or?
So we have a mix. We have like a mix of we have all of the United States, because at this time we're only shipping domestically.
And so will they do like reels for you, or it's like they get the product in and they open it up and like do all the things? Because those are the best.
The unboxing videos, love a good unboxing video. So we, again, I'm a big believer in organic. So we never, and we're not paying them, right? Like so I never want to tell them like what to say. I want it to feel like natural. And so I'll just give them the product, and we'll give some like talking, like we'll remind them like you can take out the moss, right? Like that's like part of the packaging. And we'll remind them that, you know, we're really leaning into BWH over like Bros with Hose, for example, when they're talking about us. But we, you know, for the most part, they are the creative. Well, I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense, right? They've only been able to grow their following because they're creative and they know what they're doing. So we kind of empower them to create their own
100%.
content, and we just give them like, hey, this is the deal that we're running. This is like the product that we're launching, and then they take it from there. And it's
Well, if it's
better
10%,
than anything we could think of.
Yeah. If it's 10% and you're just offering like a commission on sales, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I've like only on a local level that I've really seen like how the influencer stuff works, and but I meant for like sponsorships. I'm not going to bring anybody on as a sponsor that
you don't believe it,
that I don't believe in.
100%.
So that's that. But I know that in radio you can get endorsements, and so there's some on air people that will just endorse whatever. But it sounds to me like your influencers really like the product, and then if they like know and trust, or then people trust them, then that's gonna make sense. Besides, it's fun too. I watch reels all the time. Are you a reel watcher?
Yeah, unfortunately, I get stuck and just keep going. Yeah.
What are some
But
of
mine are all like stand-up comedian clips.
No, that's fine.
Those are the best. Like
That's
they're so funny.
all I
Like
have.
we have a lot of it. You have to use humor. That's what engages people. So I think that's.
So I'll go through phases. I'll go through phases of baking. I don't bake, but
Yeah.
I love to watch it.
My daughter calls that. I'll go through a week of cooking. She's like, "Oh, are you in your cooking era?"
I love
Like,
that.
yes.
You should tell her. You should follow A Quick Spoonful. She's a local
Is she?
cooking influencer. She just hit 1 million followers on TikTok, and she's amazing. Sophia, I love
Well,
her.
yeah, I will. But like I said, I would like to watch the baking ones too. But I would love to watch like some of the TikTok videos of influencers doing or like I said for BWH. How would I? Okay, so I'm not a TikTok person. How would I find them? Just would I be able to type in BWH, and would the influencers pop up?
They should, because
yeah.
shouldn't they like tag it?
Yeah. So there's a couple different hashtags, but even just BWH Plant Co. You'll find us that way through searching that term. But we also use the hashtag. This is more for like user generated customer experiences. We invite all of our customers to tag their gifts or their shipments with BWH Plant Mail, and that's how we aggregate the content that we filter through. And for UGC, user generated content, we basically ask for their permission to share it on our platform. So we invite them to tag us with BWH Plant Mail, and then they get to see their unboxing videos too.
Right.
So,
No, I think that's brilliant. Sounds like you guys have just done a great job. And I'm thinking too, it's also the fact that it's a little bit of a younger company, because I think that younger owners,
Right.
Because I think that's a little bit of a struggle. I know for somebody in like my age group, because we don't understand a lot of that stuff. And my daughter, she's 19, she does. So I'll be like, Anna, I need you to do this and do this and do this and help me understand that. And she's like, okay, no problem. And that works out really good. But I mean, I'm so incredibly happy for like how quick the business has grown. I know we're going to come up to break a little bit, but let's talk a little bit when we get back. Let's talk about a little bit about growing pains. And then let's talk about what the future looks like.
The fun challenges from growing pains. I love it.
You put that, it kind of puts it in a nice light, but I mean, there's got to be a lot of like hits and misses. And this is really what this is about, is learning how you guys got over those hump and are successful.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about it.
All right. Well, actually, I know he hasn't started the music yet, but we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to be smiling in there because I do want to jump into that and when we get back from the break. So everybody stay tuned for more BaaD Radio.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
Oh, welcome back. And this portion of the show is brought to you by Liberty Property Inspections. Your home is one of your most important investments, so don't trust it to just anyone. LibertyPropertyInspections.net, helping you protect your investment. And we are here with Kimberly Devitt Brown with BWH Plant Co., which stands for Bros with Hose, which actually is really fun to say. You kind of always have to say it with like a little bit of a bros with hose kind of thing. And before break, I said, okay, well, let's talk a little bit about some of the growing pains, because everything we've talked about so far is it started as an idea. And what are we, 5 years later?
Yeah, we're celebrating 5 years next week.
Wow,
Oh,
that's exciting.
Okay. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
I got the
Happy
plant that
birthday.
says congrats. But okay, so now I
You
gotta
should
figure
give it back.
No, I'm keeping it.
It's yours.
And when I say growing pains, like I said, it makes you guys look really real. So let's talk about some of the growing pains, because you said everything had had a learning curve.
Yeah. So we all often joke that our greatest challenges become our greatest opportunities. So it's not what happens to you, it's how you handle it. And from everything from just how to, go from like selling plants out of a trailer to now having to pivot during a worldwide pandemic online, that was a growing pain. Just getting that transition made. But even more recently, as we were growing our social media following, and that became, at one point, Instagram was their number one channel for sales.
Instagram, you said?
Instagram was, until the entire Instagram disappeared. And
You
overnight,
lost the whole
they lost the whole account
Why?
overnight. And at
Why?
that point, they had hit 100,000 followers. So it was,
Oh, ouch.
it was a
though? Why would
big-
why would they lose?
it's one of those, they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah,
It was
Instagram
no fault
just
of their own.
took it.
Instagram just has sometimes it could happen to anyone. You could get hacked, and it disappeared. And so they had to start over from scratch. And I think, that's a great example, because one, it's a definitely growing pain, and two, it empowered them to recognize that, okay, we need to put our eggs in more baskets than just Instagram. And so it was from that experience that they were exploring app options, and that's how they found TapCard, and that's how they built their app. And so now you can still buy on Instagram. We've now regrown our following again. We just hit 137,000, I think, around there.
Yeah, but see, I can see so many people get so discouraged of losing 100,000. I know that my Instagram got hacked once, and the hacker was messaging on my friend saying that I was going to start
the clothing.
a clothing company.
I remember that.
And I was like, I got so much support for the clothing company that I was going to start. I was like, all right, maybe we should start a clothing company.
I love that.
She was like, she knew it was a joke, but she was like, I can't wait to see this
Yeah.
clothing company.
Can't
I'm
wait.
like, no, it's not me. But anyway, so yes, I didn't lose the account though. I had to do all these things, like take a picture of myself and send it in, and it was a huge pain in the butt. But to lose it altogether, oh my God, that would be devastating. So yay,
I know.
That's like resilience.
Totally. And resilience has, whether it be, natural disasters and hurricanes and live plants and shipping, and even like how we ship our plants. That's been, learning after learning. And we continue to innovate and improve upon that. So even most recently, like I mentioned, we're launching new packaging next month, and that's to see how we can be more sustainable so that we can use less box size, like the volume of the box can actually, we're less wasteful in our shipping. So that's something that we've learned over time.
What about weather? So you weather, how did Ian affect you guys?
We knock on wood, since they've started business, they haven't had any major impact to the greenhouse, which is a minor miracle in itself. But when we go through cold spells and periods of slow growth, when we think that we might be able to launch a certain product, or that'll have, most of our products are shipped in 4-inch pot sizes. So we want it to get to a healthy place where we can ship it in that pot size. But if it's really cold and there's a cold snap and it takes longer, that's, those are factors that are outside of our control. And despite the amazing efforts of our incredible head grower, I mean, there's just sometimes that you just can't sell it. So you have to sit on it until it gets to where, it's a good metaphor for life, right?
Yeah.
We're all growing and we're all learning and improving. And
Do you find that your customer base is pretty forgiving, or they're pretty understanding? And
Yeah.
I know no matter what, there's going to be the people out there that are.
yeah, I think there's an element, right?
That was
There's
fun.
we even learn from those people, right? And I find it like as a fun challenge, like how can we turn this person's experience around so they go and tell their friends about how awesome we are. Like I even look at that as like a fun
That's
challenge.
great.
But
Oh yeah.
Because it's hard not to get on there and be like,
It
"They're
is.
pretty cute."
Yeah, I did everything I
Yeah.
could.
And at the end of the day, like we're still human, right? And error
Right.
is going to happen. I think even last week we had the Plant Palooza. We sent out an email that said "See you tomorrow" in the subject line, and we sent it on like Wednesday instead of Friday. So there's an element of human error, and it's how do you keep rolling with the punches? How do you say oopsies, like we made a mistake, and own that as part of like human error, but also get better from it? Like how do we continue to like learn from our own mistakes? So part of it is the stuff that's completely out of your control, and then how do we the stuff that is in our control, how can we make that better too? So I think it's finding that balance.
I think it's a wonderful thing. So let's talk about the future a little bit. So they brought you on. So what made them decide to be like, okay, we're growing. Let's call Kimberly.
Well, first of all, I was so honored when Carly, our co-founder, reached out to me. She was my former intern at Corksicle, and I thought she just wanted to catch up. So we got coffee. I brought my baby. I'm like, we're just, talking about the weather and what's going on. And she's asking me all these PR questions about influencer. And I'm like, girl, you got this. You don't need me. She's like, no, actually, like I do. Like at that time she rolled into the COO, head of operations, and really HR. She's kind of doing all of the things to keep the business
Well, she built
growing.
the website. So
I know.
That's a big thing right there.
She's the Jane of all trades. But yeah, she's like, we really would love to bring you on. And I was like, really? So I started out in a consulting role. And then after 3 months, they extended a full-time offer. And
Nice.
I was like, wow, they're really like, as cheesy as it sounds, like they are really growing something special. Like this is big. This is and they are on
absolutely.
something. And so I'm like, I would be foolish not to like to have another opportunity to get on the ground floor of something that's, the joke is like we're all holding on the spaceship as it's like going up.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's a fun spaceship to be on.
Right. So they brought you on, and your role is to like you said, brand marketing. And so what are some of the, like, do you have like a growth strategy?
Yes.
That you
So
guys...
we're continuing to grow lots of new things. So as I mentioned before, like there's 4 different departments. So our greenhouse is hiring, our warehouse is hiring, our corporate team, we're always looking for great talent. And so we recently brought on an e-commerce specialist so that Carly could step a little bit away from like the website product launches and campaigns.
Sure.
And we have a dedicated person to help administer those emails.
How
and our
many
website changes.
employees are there right now?
Fewer than 30.
Okay.
So we're small but mighty, tiny but mighty. So you think about it, fewer than 30 employees and 500,000 plants that have been shipped. So it is a well-oiled machine. And I think what's cool is because we come to work excited, like they stock the kitchen with snacks and like it's fun. Like we don't feel like we're robots. And they give us the liberty and freedom to learn from our mistakes, and I'm really grateful for that.
It sounds like a good environment.
No, it sounds wonderful.
Culture is so important in any business.
100%.
So like I said, so as far as growth goes, you got the new warehouse, but I meant,
so
do you
we're gonna-
have like, so you sold 500,000
And it's
plants.
a lot of plants.
What are long-term? Are we talking about like
this-
more retail locations?
When they started, they didn't even again, they were selling plants for beer money. It's not like they had this like big like Shark Tank strategy of like how they're scaling company and selling it to these investors. Like that wasn't ever part of the plan. This
Right.
was just something that they were doing for fun as an inside joke. And now the fact that like we're able to provide for our families and we have like all these full-time team
Right.
members, it's like it's a big deal. And it's, it's not something that we ever like envisioned at the beginning, but it's something that's really exciting. And so to that end, the greenhouse will bring new opportunities for new team members. Our brick and mortar location continues to do.
Do you
really
think that
well.
you'll
I
open
think
another one of
they're
those?
definitely. I know that Carly's definitely open and exploring. She's always keeping that Zillow map open to see what's available.
Come over to the or Winter Springs Oviedo area. We're really nice over
That's a
there.
that is a great location. That's
Oviedo's growing.
so fun.
With all the good things.
Everywhere in Florida is growing. So it's so that's definitely how do we bring more educational opportunities and to bring the community together? Like how can we, at the end of the day, like we want more people. Of course, we want to become a household name, but we also want to bring our community together.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right. So guess what? We're going to break again. All right, guys. So stay tuned for more BaaD Radio coming up.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
Welcome back. And I'll give a huge thank you to our sponsor, Bolts Legal. Fear no storm with boltslegal.com. Crazy Muscle Nutrition, located in 436 in Castleberry. Imbalanced Bodywork in Lake Mary. Derek Brantley is ready to help take your pain away. Forge IT Consulting, providing a fully outsourced IT department with a personal touch for small business. ForgeITConsulting.com. And so we are here, and we've been here talking with Kimberly Devitt Brown with BWH Plant Co., and we've just had such a great show.
I know,
and it's so hard to believe it goes by so fast. I do want to give a big shout out, though, to one of the sponsors, and that is Bolts Legal. Bolts Legal, her name is Brooke Bolts, and she's one of our sponsors. And she gave a presentation in our BNI group this week that really was super impactful, and it made a difference in how I viewed personal injuries. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I had a friend that was in an auto accident, and I was able to give her that referral. And she talked about how when you call a big law firm, and she had marbles, and she said, okay, so you have a big law firm, and they have this many marbles that are good attorneys. Then they have this many marbles, which are kind of attorneys. Then you have this, you know what I mean? And there's like 5 different sets of marbles, and you put them all in this big pot and you shake it up. And so when you call a big law firm like that, you pull out a marble, you're going to get any one of those marbles in there, right? And it was like an aha moment for me, because I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. But it gave me such a different insight on how I view like the large a personal injury firm. So I'm just kudos to Brooke for putting together that kind of visual that went along with that.
100%.
So it made a big difference. But anyway, so we're going to talk more about BWH. Excuse me. So during the break, I was like, okay, so we're going to brag on some awards and some other things. So 5-year-old company started, like I said, from the ground up, from very grassroots to now, you know what I mean, a nationally known company. Let's talk about some of the awards that you guys have been recognized for.
So I'm laughing because Carly and Kyle and Jason, they are definitely like, they fly under the radar, right? So they don't, I tease them all the time. Like, I want them to be able to grab the microphone and brag, right? But and I'm like, they are sick. It's legitimate, but they're not the ones to ever want to jump in a podcast. It's opposite of like a lot of those stereotypical CEOs. They want to just kind of be behind the scenes, fly under the radar. And here I come in, and my background's in PR and marketing, and I'm like, well, we got to start
right.
We want to be an award-winning company, and we deserve all the recognition. But if you don't throw your name in the hat, you can't win.
Right.
And so we started submitting for some awards locally at the Orlando Business Journal. We recently were named Orlando Business Journal's Orlando Innovation Award. We were also recognized by the Die Line for sustainable packaging in recent months.
Love that.
Yeah.
So back up to the other one,
Sure.
the Innovation Award. So what are the criteria for that?
You know, I think you have to live and work in a certain county in Central Florida. And then, again, a lot of them had been funded through angel investors. But so you had to disclose your funding sources and then your like revenue, but also what tools or processes or ways that you're like shaking things up. How are you innovating ultimately?
I love it.
And I was like, well, we're great candidates for this because we completely are changing how plants are delivered to people's houses. And so that was really exciting. We was totally surprised. It was a complete surprise when they won. We didn't know. It was.
How did you find out?
Through a salesperson who was congratulating us via email, and we're like, "What?"
Yeah.
A salesperson not with OBJ, like a completely different. I don't even know what they were selling.
Yeah,
a trophy store or something.
So they let the cat out of the bag or something.
Yeah, we're like, "Wait, we won? What?" That was really exciting. So and then like even last week we got recognized in Forbes magazine.
Oh wow.
2 weeks ago is Time magazine. And
Talk of us. Rewind Forbes.
Forbes.
Hello.
Yeah, we've been named in 5 different Forbes articles in the last 5 months.
Please talk to us about that. That's amazing.
That is impressive.
This is something I'm really excited about because, again, Carly and Kyle and Jason, they're just flying under the radar. They're doing their thing. They're making houseplants affordable and accessible. But I'm like, we got to tell the world. And so that's where I come in and like help like craft like the pitching and the messaging to those editors and
because I'm at Forbes. I know we both were like, whoa. When I think about a Forbes, I think about like up there, you know, like as far as quality, how much money you're making. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that, like I said, that really kind of puts you in a different class.
Right.
Totally. And we're going up against the big guys, right?
Right.
So the one that yesterday we found out we were published an article like best flower delivery services for mom. And that was really cool because it was
really
it was like a roundup of, you know, and it was so fun to be like, I'm like, wow, we're on the list of these like really, really, really big brands. And we're different, right? So like we're talking about, you want to give your mom like a plant or something that's
I just
gonna
like
live
the fact
forever.
that it's like less than $40.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a huge thing.
Totally. So it's one of those like pinch me moments. It's really exciting, and there's more coming. So
Right. So after Forbes, what else did you mention? Because I know I
Time.
stopped you.
Oh, Time
Okay.
That's another
magazine.
big one.
Yeah.
yeah, that was another really big surprise. I was like, wait, we were featured in Time magazine. Like as a kid, you know, you think about like I just remember the like iconic like red border of the magazine, and it's just again,
Yeah,
it's like,
Time is like huge.
yeah, it's like our big deal, and they're so humble. Like they're not the ones that like want. I was the one who was like, we need to put this on Instagram and like show like they don't want to brag about themselves, and so that's where I get to come in.
Yeah, she's
Brag
like,
about
I'll be your
Right.
megaphone.
Yeah, totally. I'm the megaphone.
Well, you know what? I think that there's a difference between like bringing attention to it and bragging. That you know what I mean. So
100%.
it's like it's the way that it's positioned, but for people to know that is hugely important because it's got so much integrity that comes along with it.
And even just internally, right? Like we work, and it's like hard. Sometimes you're just like grinding it out, and you're just working and grinding. And sometimes like something like that can be like such a fun like lift the mood, right? So when we get to share these exciting updates with the rest of the team, it's like a way to celebrate together. I don't know, I love that.
Absolutely. And I mean, some people are always like, okay, so you won that. What do you get? And I'm like, you get the recognition.
won it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, okay, you get a plaque, but what else? I'm like, you know what? The recognition and the plaque is all that I need.
Yeah, especially we're not paying to like that. I'm sure those awards exist where you can like pay enough money to, but this is not that. So it's
Right.
like again, it's like just snaps. It's kudos.
Well, I think that's wonderful. And so they're kind of humble about it then.
They're super humble about it, but I'm like, all right, let's keep going. I'm like, I want to have a whole page on the website of all the awards we won.
Yeah.
Well, how do you, I mean, like I said, oh, absolutely.
I
That's a
know.
great idea.
I like as a consumer, I like to buy products from companies that, like you said, have been recognized for whether that is their sustainability or their charitable giving or, you know, all these different pillars. And to me, it like establishes recognition, but also just, it kind of gives, I don't know, elevates you as a company or as a brand, especially for those who might not be already familiar.
Yeah. Well, the way that I just from talking with you for the last couple hours here is that I get the feeling that a lot of your consumers are kind of already feel like they're part of the family.
Totally.
So when they see these sort of things come up, they're like, oh, vote for them. And then they share it with all their friends. And they're like,
Yeah.
vote for them, vote for them.
Like that tight little cult they built
Uh-huh.
back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have
100%.
something beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very, very exciting. And I'm super, you know, I'm sorry that they didn't make it today, but we will definitely have Carly, and it's Carly and Jason, right?
Yes, our husband and wife duo,
Yeah.
but they're powerhouses, but very humble. So it's gonna be. I'm excited. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see if you can get them to brag. They won't.
No, I'm not going to try to get them brag, but I would love to have them in
They're
here
really cool people.
because it is like the epitome of what this show is about. Like I said, it's all about local businesses and business networking and how that fun sort of stuff works. So, but we do hope that they feel better soon because
They
I know it's
do.
no fun being sick.
And Kyle, our greenhouse, he's our head grower. We have this big sale happening next week, so he's busy in the greenhouse. So a lot happening.
But you can't tell us about the sale. I know we're
Oh, she
wrapping it
did.
up. Oh,
it's
yeah,
the
okay.
anniversary sale. It's the,
It's the anniversary sale.
5-year anniversary sale.
All right. Well, I'm going to be on
It's a
that.
big one.
So.
It's a big one.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Go ahead and give all your contact information, how people can find you.
You can find us on bwhplantco.com. You can download our mobile app. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, BWH Plant Co. And you can search for us, BWH Plant Co. on Google. Wherever you want to find us, you'll find us.
Awesome.
Okay, and you can find me at strikingbrand.com or email Melissa at strikingbrand.com.
And I am Angela at baadradio.com. And I want to give a huge thank you to our sponsors. And thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful week, everyone.